So this is the Musical Museum in London. Korg have a brand new exhibition here. It's a permanent exhibition. They've got nearly all of their original synths from the 70s all the way up to present day. There are a couple of things are missing, unfortunately, but we had a good look at some of the weird and wonderful oddities from the back catalogue that weren't maybe as popular as some of the more well-known items, put it that way.
Yeah, so 1982 we had the KPR 77, which was basically a drum machine. So that was that came then, and then in 1984 we had these three products, which really look so 80s, which I love. And so the first two, DDM 110 and 220, one was a drum machine and one was a percussion module. So they were just designed to make percussion sounds and drum sounds. And then we had the super section, which this is the quirkiest of all, and this one is kind of like an arranger keyboard in a little module, because you can make patterns and put in your chords to describe what kind of music you want. It has lots of different styles like you find on an arranger keyboard, and then you can chain all of these patterns together to make songs. These were very much, I put them in, especially this one, in the experimental category, where Korg were just trying out different things, and we still do that now. And yeah, just seeing what works and what doesn't. The technology in there was the same as in the MS-20, is exactly the same. It's just an exploded version of it, if you like. And the reason these exist was basically to teach synthesis in Japanese schools and colleges. And it was a brilliant way to be able to do that, especially back in the day before they had the screens and everything. So everything's super clear. You can obviously see the patch bay as well. And it had a little keyboard, even a little speaker built in as well. So everything's there that you needed to teach synthesis with. And they're incredibly rare. We think there's probably less than 50 of these ever produced. So, and we're lucky enough to have one here in the museum. Before this, it was very much like the 3300, the MS-20, where it was just a synthesizer and it was just looked like a synthesizer, lots of controls. Whereas this, although they're synths, they do have, if you like, instrumental sounds on them. So things like strings and brass and other things. And these were all different variations of those. This one, for instance, the Delta, is a combination of a synth and a string machine in one thing. So this technology then distilled itself down into the Korg Trident, and it's called the Trident because it has three different pillars of sounds. It has brass, strings, and then a synth. And then the idea was you could tweak those as you wanted and then layer them up and use them together if you wanted to. So we had the DW 6000 and 8000, 84, 85 sort of time. And as you can see, hardly any controls again. But the thing with these was that they were very much a bridge between the previous analog world and the new digital world, because these had digital oscillators, so digital waveforms, but they still had analog filters. So you got a really nice mix actually, and I think that's why they're quite coveted, because you've got a really nice mix of those two worlds colliding almost in one instrument. Yeah, so you had the flexibility of having a greater array of waveforms as well, rather than just having your saw wave, your sine wave, and your square wave, and then maybe a couple of others. You had an extra, I think 16, like in the DW 8000, where you could just choose some more complex waveforms as well, which is great for sound design, but still then going through those nice analog filters. And then what we've done with the mod wave is we've kind of taken that heritage and given it a modern twist and included wavetable synthesis. So not exactly the same sort of synthesis as these, but certainly a nod towards that DW range. And we've even put the DW in blue on the logo there.
Of course, yeah.